Hi guys, Moon Titan here. So, I'm eating a watermelon, chilling like it's no big deal, enjoying life, totally relaxed, and suddenly, a giant watermelon starts growing right in front of me. Then a tank shoots at it, but the bomb bounces back and everything blows to hell. Later, some dude emerges from the giant watermelon, and together with another guy in sunglasses, they drop a massive bomb that reduces everything to splinters. Now the question, what did I just witness? Yes, friends, this is the new episodes of the Watermelon Universe. And not only have I gathered the most crucial details for you, but I also have an exclusive from the creator about the upcoming episode. More importantly, I have my own theory about what's coming next. I think the thumbnail already gives you a hint, but don't jump to conclusions. It's way cooler and more interesting than you think. So hit that like button and watch till the end. Let's start with the less obvious. The description of episode 10 says, "I made the biggest watermelon in the world," which means, as of now, this is officially the strongest watermelon on the planet. It was clear that sooner or later, they'd introduce something like a titan. We actually discussed this in the previous video, and essentially episodes 4 and 10 were teasers for this. But in episode 11, we finally saw just how powerful it is. We'll come back to that later. The most important detail here is that the father of this watermelon is an infected scientist, and behind him, for some reason, there's a mountain of ducks. Weird, right? This can only mean one thing. He deliberately gathered all those ducks in one place. The question is, why? Most likely to destroy or discard them, though he did place one duck on the table, possibly for research. As we remember from the creator's comments, in this universe, ducks are cameras, so we can't say for sure that he wants to destroy them, but it's certain that he knows about their secret ability to record footage, and most likely he'll try to exploit that for his own purposes. However, another more critical question arises. Did he figure this out on his own, or did he know even before being infected, back when he was just a regular watermelon? Or worse, does the infection allow him to use the host's memories as an additional source of information? If that's the case, it explains how he gained so much knowledge, creating a giant watermelon with just a couple of syringes and one device implanted in the head. By the way, that device is an activator. It's clear because the watermelon started growing the moment the cop touched its backside. Now, onto the main theory. This is just my speculation, but the giant watermelon didn't explode. It's still alive. What's more, it might even infect Adam Mech. This thumbnail was something Zachtor and I came up with before episode 11 dropped, but now, realizing this theory has become even easier. There's no need to fight for the mech, since the host has already exited it. Or maybe there's no need to infect anyone at all. It is a robot after all. What's more plausible is that an infected human will enter it. I doubt it'll be the scientist himself. He's too valuable in the background to be turned into another fighter. More likely, it'll be an infected soldier, or even a civilian. And if that does happen, the FSD will probably try to secure their second mech, Samurai. In theory, it shouldn't be too hard. Just seal all possible entry points to the mech's head. Though, considering how easily Adam lost to the giant watermelon, I'm not even sure Samurai stands a chance. Seriously, there wasn't even a real fight. Adam just collapsed like he'd downed 10 liters of vodka. Oh, and there's another detail hinting that fighting the watermelons will be way harder. KitKat messaged me, saying that in the near future, an entire watermelon base will grow. This means the infected scientist will manage to create a mini version of the base, and then expand it to gigantic proportions. And if this does become their stronghold, I'm almost afraid to imagine what it'll look like or what's inside. So all we can do is wait and watch. By the way, episode 11 had another interesting detail. The pilot was Gordon Freeman from Half-Life, and that changes things. Freeman isn't just a scientist. He's a symbol of silent resistance. He's not a typical superhero, but he acts decisively, relying on intellect, scientific knowledge, and adaptability in impossible situations. If the character in episode 11 is truly inspired by him, we can expect a silent but extremely dangerous hero. Not a flashy leader, but someone who changes the course of events just by being there. Also, in Season 3, there was an extra scene that revealed a crucial detail. The watermelons were artificially created via injections. One freeze frame clearly shows a syringe, which is a really cool plot detail that explains a lot. We'll definitely discuss this in future videos, so subscribe so you don't miss it. Of course, all this is awesome, but I've been deliberately avoiding the biggest elephant in the room, and you've probably guessed what it is. The the rapid decline in interest in the watermelon universe. Just look at the view counts of the recent episodes, especially compared to the early ones. It's a huge drop. The creators clearly experimenting, sometimes posting shorts without longs, sometimes only longs, and other times both. And that video about watermelons in France? Likely another attempt to revive interest. Unfortunately, it hasn't worked yet, though I personally found it hilarious. But I decided to dig deeper and figure out, is it really as bad as it seems? Absolutely. But the project still has a chance for a second breath, and here's why. First, fake watermelon videos are getting more views than the official episodes. Just look at those insane numbers. And these videos are relatively new. Plus, some fan animations are also popping off, and unlike the AI garbage churned out by content farms, these actually have effort put into them. Second, the creator isn't giving up on the series despite the declining interest, still releasing episode after episode, and that deserves respect. However, the chance of a revival isn't that high. Why? Because, as I've said before, content farms have completely warped perception. Watermelons have been blended into the same mess as hype-driven brain rots and sprunks, and now many viewers see them as just another AI-generated brain rot, missing that this is actually a cohesive story-driven series, especially since KitKat still hasn't even hit 200K subscribers, sadly. Skibidi Toilet faced a similar issue, tons of YouTubers leeching off it with nonsensical content. But the Boom series had already built a fan base, and the hype grew gradually, spreading across all episodes, not just the early ones. With KitKat, the hype waves came early, and now YouTube isn't pushing the series in recommendations. And if the platform is hesitant, there's a reason. The biggest one? Sadly, the story just isn't appealing enough to the mass audience. And honestly, I get it. So far, if we're being real, nothing truly groundbreaking has happened in the watermelon universe. Yes, the plot differs from Skibidi Toilet, as I explained in the first video, but on the surface it lacks the wow hype factor, and there are too many parallels with Skibidi, which hurts its originality. Let's remember, who's the main audience for these web series? Exactly, kids and teens. And you can think whatever you want about that. It's neither good nor bad, just the reality you have to account for. And young audiences want spectacle and memorability. That's why Titans are the most popular characters in Skibidi Toilet. What's cooler than a skyscraper-sized robot smashing everything? The numbers speak for themselves. Out of Boom's 9 most popular videos, only 2 don't feature a Titan in the thumbnail. And even then, one of those has 3 girls on it, which is its own hype category. Of course, this isn't the only reason for Skibidi's popularity. There are tons of factors, and listing them all would take forever. But that's where the magic lies, why we eagerly await each new episode. Now let's look at Lin Gang Melon. Are there Titans here? Well, kinda, the mechs. But they're just enlarged humans. And the watermelons? So far, just one big watermelon. Personally, I'm fine with that, and it's only been 11 episodes. But if we're talking about a hype revival, it'll have to come through a redesign, more recurring characters, and better presentation. Oh, and those iron kittens from the sign, they look very promising. Maybe they'll be the key to relaunching the hype. That's why I still believe in the project and hope KitKat won't burn out over the low views. And yeah, you might have noticed I barely mentioned episode 9, though of course it did release after my last breakdown. Let's keep it short. Adam's wife got the samurai mech, and it was set in Japan. That's pretty much all worth noting. No other major reveals, except maybe Watermelon Naruto, but that's just meme material. Oh, and we predicted earlier that Adam's wife would have a katana. It was visible in episode 8. If you missed that breakdown, highly recommend checking it out. Here's where the hint appeared. See you later.